This is a League of Women Voters, Holden Beach Town Council Forum, October 17th, 2025. We're back from our break, having spoken with one of our mayoral candidates, and we're ready to talk with town council candidates. We join this session in progress with our moderator, Nancy Garland.
Holden Beach faces unique challenges as a barrier island in shoreline protection to seasonal population shifts. And tonight's forum invites candidates to share their vision for the resilient, inclusive future. So we'll begin with opening statements. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to introduce themselves and share their story of why they wanted to take a seat on the Holden Beach Town Council. We will go alphabetically, starting with the opening statements. Then when we go to the first question, I will go to the next, that person will start, and so we'll move on. So we'll rotate in terms of who's first and who's last and who has more time to think about the question. But anyway, so we're ready, Mr. Pop.
Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for hosting this. I'm glad that the town is hosting it and that everyone's been able to come out, especially on a night. Most of us want to go ahead and dinner or photo or something like that to see me. So thanks for coming on out for that. A little bit about myself. I've been lucky enough to have a home on Holden Beach for 13 years. Been a permanent resident for a little over a year and a half. Retired last year. Retired from a software executive position from MasterCard, was able to run multiple divisions for them from a professional point of view. But what was most important is my family. First and foremost, if there's anything you want to know, it's about my wife, my 2 kids, my brother, my mother, my aunts, you name it. My mom just left this morning. She said to me, I'm supposed to give this message to anybody in the audience who want to believe it. You don't vote for Chad, you're crazy. My mom told you. There you go. Love to death. She's here. So that's just a little bit about myself. My vision for Holden Beach, you'll see the enthusiasm I have outside. I talk about it a lot. Holden Beach attitude, Holden Beach latitude. Alan said it great. We are unique. I've been all over the world, and this island is great, but we've lost our attitude. We've become something that we are not. It's time to stop. It's that simple. That's the first thing. We need to communicate. These 4 of us, we've had coffee together. We've had forums in here with each other. We're trying. But that's one thing I'll tell you that's great. That's one vision. The other vision is we do have to focus on our needs, but also look at how we can accomplish our wants. It's a careful balance. I will say this, as you hear from me tonight, come with a common, practical approach to how we can solve some of the problems that we have in our lives. Thank you. And thanks for all these folks who have stepped up to say they want to be part of this community.
Thank you. Ms. Pate?
Thank you. I'd like to also thank you for coming out tonight on the Friday night, and then you could be doing lots of other things. I will say that I grew up in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Went to high school there and went on to go into the workforce. Later went in to get my undergraduate degree at a local community college, and later I got my bachelor's degree from Western Carolina University, and then later I got my master's degree from the University of North Carolina at Pembroke in organizational leadership and management, which is now called public administration. And I also worked at UNC Pembroke. In fact, I retired from there from my public service job. My family has had a house at Holden Beach since 1968. So I've been very involved in the community for a long time. My first involvement was in 1992, and that was when I had met my husband. And the first time I came here, I had never heard of Holden Beach. I grew up at Myrtle. We used to go to Calabash, but I had never heard of Holden Beach. So when I discovered it, I fell in love with it. And every time I come across that bridge, I always say the same thing. It's like heaven. I can't know of any place else that you can go and see that view that you see across from there. So when I've had a bad day, it always causes me to take pause when I come across that bridge and think how fortunate I am to live in a place like this. And I hope that all of you feel that way. As Chad said, it's been a bit frustrating the last couple of years with a lot of bitterness and negativity and things like that that have been going on. But from my perspective, I'm all about looking at things from a positive nature. I work a lot with local governments and strategic planning and economic development, community development, and those types of things. I've helped towns create their strategic plans and those kinds of things. So I kind of have a good background of where we need to look at things and kind of how where we need to go in the future. But I'll talk a little bit later. I think we're going to get to talk about our vision maybe a little bit later, so I'll talk about that a little bit. But I feel like I'm qualified for the job, and I'm going to go to Holden Beach.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
Well, first off, I only have 2 minutes, and that's a problem.
Can you give more time later on?
Yes. Oh, okay, I got 2 seconds break, that's all. So I'll start off by saying this. I love mass communication. I love talking with people. I like doing one-on-one. I love people. I have 10 kids, so if that gives you any kind of reference, I love people. I like conversations. I like talking. I like starting on the conversation with 2 different points of view, and somewhere along the middle, you come together and you find some common ground. Very few times in life can you not find common ground. We all agree this is a great place. We all agree that. We all agree we don't want a Ferris wheel. I think we can all agree to that. And so somewhere between lies what do we do next. And so working together, as Tad said, talking to each other. The great thing is we have talked. We have communicated with each other. The problem is only 2 of us are going to get elected. So now we got to take those skills and deal with people that currently sit at this desk. And so you've got to be able to talk. You got to have your own ideas come from your own place, make good arguments for those. And then if you don't, then you got to compromise and work with each other. So, because there's some things that you like and there's some things you don't. So, like I said, I have 10 kids. If you want to find out more, if I don't give enough, as you see, I can talk. If I don't give enough answers out, you can go to votingforkeith.com. And after this, I'll make some long, comprehensive responses, and they'll be posted there. So that's probably the best way to get a full, that I have time to think about and put all my thoughts together. But I do have 10 kids. We're a blended family. I had 3 kids. My wife had 4 kids, and we got married, and then we adopted 3. Those 3 adopted kids now reside in our beach home. Well, let me say, my wife and I now live in our children's beach home. And so eventually they're going to be fully responsible for it, and one would like to be the mayor one day.
Thank you. We have a future mayor here. Okay. Surprise, let us know what your vision is.
Thank you. Hi, thank you again all for coming out tonight on a beautiful Friday night. My name is Maria Surprise, and I want your vote because it's time for an open and inclusive and collaborative Board of Commissioners. It is time to put aside our differences and work together on common sense, fiscally responsible solutions that benefit everybody. Together, we can make and maintain and improve Holden Beach. We can keep our beautiful beach town exactly like it is for generations to come. My platform is based on community, collaboration, and commitment. My husband, John Woods, and I bought a home here in 1990. We built a home here in 1999, and we became permanent residents in 2018. I want to use my skills to help heal the divisiveness that has permeated our community. There's so much we can do when we work together, and I've been encouraged speaking with my fellow candidates that they all seem to be on the same page there. I am willing to do the work, whatever it takes, however many hours to put in, to understand these complex issues, because they're not easy. It's not, not everything's black and white, and compromise will be required to get where we need to go. And as some of you know, I ran for commissioner in 2023, and I was brand new. I'd never run for office before. And so I lost by 17 votes, and I thought, well, what do I want to do now? So I got more involved. I've been a regular member of the Planning and Zoning Board, and I've attended all meetings, all meetings. I decided to join the Holden Beach Property Owners Association to meet more residents and really understand what the issues were. And I was elected president in 2024. So I'm looking forward to bringing that expertise and my skills to keep Holden Beach the beautiful beach town we love. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all of your opening comments. We will start with the first question, and Ms. Kate, I will ask you, but I will repeat the question each time before you need to respond. So, hey, this first question is kind of, we're getting down to the down and dirty. What would your plan be for managing septic to sewer transitions and protecting water quality? Again, these came from the community, so.
Let's get me on dirty. Well, what we have recently, the town, thank goodness, has recently done several studies to identify water issues. And also, we did a water study to look at some issues related to pressure and whether or not we needed a new water tower and those types of things. Some of the priority stormwater issues are being addressed on, they prioritized, I think it was 2, and then added maybe a third from the last comprehensive study that was done. They went back and had some suggestions and went back to the streets on the canals because we have a lot of flooding on the canal streets as well. So they went back and looked at those and looked at a number of points on the boulevard. So starting with they're starting to start with those first. So I think that's kind of taking care of itself. But when you look at the whole totality of that study and the number of issues that are related to that, it's a considerable amount of money. So we're going to have to look for some dollars to take care of those. And there hasn't been a decision made as far as what's going to happen with the water study that's been completed. So I think that's going to take some analyzing that to see what steps the commissioners want to do as far as going forward with that. As far as the sewer is concerned, we just got to upgrade one of our sewer lift stations, which was much needed. And there are a couple of other upgrades that are in the works. So I think we're moving along on that, but we have to keep our eyes on the target.
Thank you. Mr. Smith goes to Washington. But anyway, what would your plan be for managing septic to sewer transitions and protecting water quality?
Well, I mean, I'll have to claim somewhat ignorance here, because I don't know that we're transferring from septic to sewer. I think it's all a vacuum-based sewer, and so I think we can check that one off. We're good. I think as far as protecting water quality, I mean, we have some good things in place. You always do with water runoff, people alluded to the stormwater. Stormwater probably, maybe that's what the question was. Maybe it's a stormwater question. And so I'm just going to take the liberty to go that direction. Stormwater it's really simple when you come into it. I'm a licensed plumber by trade, and plumbing is not very difficult, so I excelled at it. You basically put water up high and it will flow down. And if you put it backwards, it won't. And so there's another stuff about water pipes, but we're doing with sewer. And so the idea is basically, if you put a catch basin above the rim of the water in the parking lot, it's not going to drain. It will eventually evaporate, but usually it takes about 2.5 to 3 days if it's a good sunny day. So anywhere, when we did a repave here, some of the storm drains were elevated, the grades. And so some to the point where we probably need to go back and relook at those, but really just lowering some of those would take care of some of this. Now, it's not going to take care of Lake Valley on like the 300 block. It's not going to take care of that. You're going to have to put a drain in for that. But at the end of the day, you're just going to have to get the water to flow. And when the water is 4 foot above the normal rate, you're going to have standing water. That's just the way it's going to be.
Thank you. And I got a science lesson out of it. Mr. Price, I'm going to read the question as it was posed. What would your plan be for managing septic to sewer transition and protecting water quality?
Thank you for that question. Like he said, I won't go into the plumbing details, but we have a sewer system. I was here. We on our home. We built our home. We had a septic field, and now we have a sewer system. And so I believe that I get the town staff, the public works department there to be lauded. They do a wonderful job. I'm so happy that we're doing the lift station repairs because that is needed. When we have storms here, no one's coming over that bridge after a storm if we don't have working sewer. So, and one thing I want to make clear is like I have a degree in electrical engineering, from the University of Vermont. I spent 30+ years in the energy industry, so I understand all of this stuff. And it's very important. Call me infrastructure science girl. I am definitely going to be focused on our infrastructure and making sure that it's robust, because as we have growth, we're gonna have more resources, and that will drain, more users to drain the resources. So we have to make sure that our utilities are very robust and in top shape. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hawk, I'm gonna repeat it again. What would you plan for managing septic to sewer transitions and protecting water quality?
So I actually do think there's still a problem, it's not done. I love driving by Lake Holden and Lake Tower after a rainstorm. I think we all get to see that every time. I mean, yeah, we didn't have Lake Holden at one point. Let's remember that. So we got the road done. So drive down Sanford when it rains, as an example. We still have issues we need to accomplish. We still need to be looking at it from a stormwater point of view. We still have, of the 1,000 lots that are out there that Alan talked about earlier, the possibility of septic systems still being there. And that has to be resolved, because as we all know, we can buy on it. Some people put septic tanks still on their property. It still has to be resolved. People have to pay that. That's not over. So there's a third thing though that's probably more important. We continue to add concrete constantly. And every time you do that, you have ways to move the water drain. I know we're trying to drain it into our sewer system, but it can only take so much. We're covering the property we have today, but we can actually be letting the water go where it should be. So there's some things that we should be looking at, and I would look at if I was elected.
Thank you. Well, we're finished with the sewer and everything now. Mr. Smith. Our next question, how would you address seasonal congestion and infrastructure strain during the peak months?
How would I do it?
How would you do it?
Oh, okay. Well, I think what happens when you have a beachfront, you draw them because they want to go to the beach. They want to spend a day at the beach. They want to spend a night at the beach. As far as back when the parking wasn't very popular. However, one of the things that it did do is organize the parking on the island. It was very disorganized before that. And the board that did that at that point in time, they took a lot of heat for it. Not so much local, but across the water. You're going to charge me to go to the beach. You're going to charge me. And so they took a lot of heat for that. So that was probably a great thing to kind of throttle some of the traffic over here. So as far as the daily visitors, you've seen that become more manageable. As far as on the other side of things, I think the people who own houses that rent those, I think they need to increase. In other words, I don't think they're at a point now where they are fully occupied. And so they want to see an increase in traffic into their rentals and into their units and into their pocketbooks. And if they would increase into their pocketbooks, and if we can push them and we can help them.
And during peak months?
That's an interesting question, because seasonal congestion and infrastructure strain can mean many different things. Are you talking about the roads? Are you talking about traffic? Are you talking about public safety issues? You've got a lot of people coming on the island that don't live here, don't necessarily know our rules and our ordinances. It puts a lot of stress on our public safety officials. It puts a lot of stress on the police officers, on our fire department, on our first responders. So one of the things I think we can do, and we have done to manage that, is the fire department. They put in the safety signs all up and down the beach strand. And I know that the town has been communicating with the different rental properties to make sure that the people renting the homes understand the safety issues on our island. One thing I think we can also do that I know we've done in the past, and I've seen the traffic be crazy in season on Saturdays, changeover day. Routing the traffic off the bridge only goes right, and making sure to just kind of keep the traffic moving. There are things like that that are somewhat easy fixes that we can put in place. It's just, again, making sure we're educating people. I know that there's a turtle talk on Wednesdays in this season. The fire department before the Sunday concerts give safety presentations. It's time to do a lot more, being there, having the mayor show
And quite frankly, allow visitors to have a better experience. And I think that's really important. The second part is the water pressure. We know that we have a water pressure issue during the season highs. All our homeowners right now, there's a chance that we don't have enough pressure at one end of the island, the other side of the island, if we have two fires. That's irresponsible. We've got to fix that. So that's something else.
Thank you. We are getting a much more of an influx of folks from off the island.